Just like men see certain types of women as, the freaky type, or the one night stand type, or the situation type, the super sexual, the hyper sexual side of women. You know how certain men, how men see certain women in that type of light. Like when you look at her, like, man, I would just, woo. You know what I mean? I don't even want to say on YouTube because of monetization rules, but you guys could kind of figure out what I'm trying to say. You guys could kind of imagine what I'm saying when I say that. You see a chick, she has a nice physique on her. Okay, she looks good. She's on top of that. On top of that, she is feminine. On top of that, and looks wise, she doesn't. And I don't. I wouldn't even say that she really has to be super attractive like that. And I wouldn't even say that her physique has to be like super on point like that. But it's something about her that you see, and it's like she's that fling type. Now, if her body's on point, then of course that's a major, major plus. But just like we see that, women also see men as that type too. They have their own way of viewing men like that because, believe it or not, they don't see men in just one type of light. Okay. This is Tarek Talks. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. Let's get into it. So just like us, just like as men, we see that one chick or chicks, and we're just like, man, she is a. I would do some illegal stuff to her. You dig what I'm saying? Women have that side of them too. They see certain guys as like the fling type or the sexual type because women don't see men in the same type of light. They don't see guys the same way across the board, just like men, right? They don't see guys the same way across the board. And especially now in this liberated day and age, I've said this before plenty of times. Women now are sort of, I wouldn't say encouraged, but they are way more open about men that they see as sexual, right? Or as sexually attractive, I should say. Now they're way more open. Now, obviously we see it in social media, Instagram, Snap, TikTok. I don't even know if TikTok is going to be around by the time this video turns a couple of months old. That's another story, right? But we see how women are more open with how they see these type of men. And it's the same, right? It's the same. These are the type of guys that they get intimate with rather quickly. These are the guys that they get intimate with rather quickly. This is the type of guy that they get in a situationship with, or they mess with him on the low. Okay, that's the type of guy they mess with on the low, and they're just the D appointment guy. You could really say that's the D appointment guy. And certain type of guys are viewed that way by women. Now this varies from woman to woman, of course, but these are usually the type of guys that have that sort of sexual attractiveness or that sexual energy when it comes to a large majority of women, because you know, chicks aren't, contrary to popular belief with some guys, or I don't even think guys really think this way anymore. But not all men are, women aren't going to marry all type of men that they get with, right? I think this is obvious by now, by 2025 or whenever you're going to watch this. This is obvious by now that just because she messes with a guy does not mean that she is going to marry him. She just finds him ethically attractive. And am I saying that this type of guy can't have both? Like he can't be ethically attractive and further down the line get married, build a family with this woman, etc., etc. I'm not saying that, but in most cases, he's usually just seen as the fling guy. Not necessarily a guy that she would want to build a lasting relationship with for a few reasons. For one, is that she kind of knows that other chicks want him. She knows that a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys are going to want to get married off rip because they're not really wanted that much by women. And that's not necessarily the case every single time, all right? I'm just speaking in generalities. Most guys are real quick to get married because they know that, hey, look, uh I'm not the I don't get action like that. But these type of guys generally, not all the time, there's the type of guys that are called players and dogs, manhoes, the suave type, whatever you want to call it. And women know that he gets a good amount of attention. He gets a good amount of attention from other women. So they know that this guy is loose, he's loose. He's fast. Like southern folk be saying, she's fast, usually referring to a girl, right? They say she's fast. Well, this the male equivalent. He's a male hoe. He's fast. He gets around, and she knows that. So that's number one as to why she wouldn't get in a relationship with him, right? Number two is that there's a certain level of like sneakiness about it, to where she just doesn't want to really be with this guy when it's gonna come to going to outings with friends and stuff like that. Now, this varies from social class to social class, because some chicks, they'll get with a guy, more urban communities, right? More urban communities. They'll get with a guy that's thugged out and, kind of has that bad boy swag to him because the whole family is like that, right? That's just their social class. It's a more hood social class, okay? I'm not going to get too deep into that, but it's, it is what it is. Now, when I'm talking more on other classes, right? And even in classes, that's more on a hood or urban, whatever you want to call it. Even in that case, sometimes the chick doesn't want to be seen with that type of guy, right? And in other social classes, they just don't want to be seen with that type of guy because he doesn't fit a social standard. He doesn't fit what her family or friends would deem as the type of guy you would get married to. If you catch my drift, it's kind of like, let me relate it back to men. It's kind of like the chick you go out with, or you don't want to be seen out in public with, because even though you enjoy being freaky with her, you don't want to be seen out with her because people are going to be like, you don't want to particularly be in like a committed relationship with her. And I know this sounds messed up, but it is what it is, guys. Get out your feelings, because you have some sort of social class, or people are going to be like, oh, he's with this chick and she's a freak. She's a super freak on some Rick James type of stuff. So it's kind of like that, right? And generally, these are just the fun type of guys. These are the guys that usually do stuff like, go out clubbing, drinking. That usually follows it. They're dudes that know how to work it as well, as far as when they're with the chick, when they're smashing the chick, they know what they're doing, and the chick keeps them around. And she's not intending on marrying him. See, chicks be doing that fling stuff too. They do that fling stuff too. They have one night stands with guys all the time. Just the guy that they meet, and they just have a quick fling with them. Sometimes it's just because the chick is on a drought, right? Sometimes it's because the chick is on a drought just like guys, and she just needs something real quick. She goes to a bar, club, whatever, party, what have you, and finds a guy that she finds instantly attractive. And honestly, when she gets her rocks off, she probably would not care if she's seen him again. Those are those type of cases too, where it's just a basic one night stand. It's basically a one night stand, and these folks aren't gonna see each other again after that. I mean, this type of stuff happens. You know, this type of stuff happens when you're talking about a lot of this sexual stuff that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of guys aren't privy to or they don't really know about. This is one of them. Fellas, sometimes chicks just be going out, whether it's a, you know, with a group of friends or what have you, and they just want some D. They just want some D straight up. And you know, like I said, sometimes they'll keep the guy for a D appointment. They'll keep him around for a D appointment. And sometimes, like I said, it might be a girls' night out, something like that. They all get together and everyone finds a guy, or a particular chick finds a guy that she thought is hot and has a fling with him. And it happens quite often. It happens. I would venture to say, honestly, for real, I would venture to say more chicks do that than men, right? I would venture to say there's a larger number of women that had one night stands than there is men. I'm going to just throw that out there. Okay. Anyway, with that being said, hope y'all enjoy the video. Peace.